Sunbreak Stories Vol.3 My Savior. A young Bahari risks life and limb in his quest to obtain a gift for someone important when he is suddenly saved by a mysterious man. When I woke up, I found myself deep in the jungle. I tried consulting my map, but couldn't find the corresponding point. I'd been wandering around lost in thought for so long that I'd gone outside the map's boundaries. This is bad. If I get stranded here, I'm in a whole heap of trouble. Out of provisions, too. Bahari the scientist found dead deep in the jungle. Not much of a headline, is it? I had always envisioned I'd meet a more dramatic end. You know, go out with a bang. Suddenly, I noticed something in the bushes ahead of me. I could hear the rustling of the underbrush, and it soon became clear that the cause of this was not the wind or some small woodland creature. Roar! With a thundering roar, an ogre jumped out at me. Looks like I stumbled into its territory. I'm just a scientist. I can't fight off a monster like this, or any monster. And just when I was ready to breathe my final breath, that man appeared. He attacked the Zinogre with a deafening battle cry, shrugging off the beast's razor-sharp claws and fangs, and even its array of lightning attacks. And before I knew what was going on, the beast had been bested. I couldn't believe my eyes. What strength! I'd seen hunters at work many times before, but even with my quite expansive vocabulary, I couldn't muster a single better adjective to describe this man than strong. Night had fallen, and we decided to stay here and wait for the morning. The man explained that his job was to explore the remote hunting grounds and report his findings to the guild. He told me that he was going to report this very location to the guild so that it would be added to the map in the future. That should prevent people from running into the same trouble I did. A praiseworthy endeavor. Ooh, I owe you my life. If you hadn't shown up, I would have ended up as puppy chow. The fear and tension had finally alleviated, and now only excitement remained. The man asked why I had come here. Oh, I was just looking for some of the ore described here, pointing to the scribbles in my notebook, but it seems I got lost along the way. I handed the notebook over to him so he could get a closer look at the notes and illustrations regarding the materials. The man asked me what these materials were for, and I was briefly at a loss for words, but he had saved my life, so I owed him an answer. I'm making a present. With a strange laugh, the man jokingly asked if it was for my lover. No, it's nothing like that. And it wasn't, but it was a present for someone I deeply cared for. I submitted a quest to have a hunter gather the necessary monster materials for me, but I need some of this ore too, I explained. The man cocked his head. He asked the extremely obvious question why I hadn't just asked a hunter to gather the ore as well. Well, I didn't want someone to do all the work for me. I thought I should put in some effort too, 'cause it's a present, you know? I knew it wasn't very efficient, but he somehow seemed to understand. I don't know what it was, but it was easy to talk to him. I guess he's a good listener. I'm very much a talker, so it worked out great. And so time passed, and before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. The following morning, I had gone to sleep in some godforsaken heck hole, way off the map, but when I woke up, I found myself in a tent at a camp. My mind was blank for a second. Had it all just been a dream? I started to panic a little, but then the man who had saved me entered the tent. Not a dream then. Phew. He told me he'd just been exploring the area a bit as he put down a large sack in front of me. Inside, it was all the ore I needed. There's no way anyone could gather this much ore just by exploring a bit. He must have been out and about the whole time I was asleep. Wait, forget about that. He brought me all the way from the middle of nowhere to this camp. What kind of supernatural being is this? Is it my imagination, or is there a faint angelic glow to him? He turned around, and just as he was about to leave, I asked him, Hold on, at least tell me your name. I want to repay the favor someday. He turned to look at me and replied with the same smile from the night before. That won't be necessary. Forget about it. When I returned to the castle, I went to see Master Arlo, present in hand. What is it, Bahari? I'm in the middle of training here, yeah? He looked at the package in my hands and cocked his head. What's that? A present? For me? Ah, you shouldn't have. Ha! Don't worry, I didn't, I retorted. Then a girl approached carrying a sword. Master Arlo, I have completed my swinging practice as you have instructed. She must have really been going at it because she was almost out of breath and covered in sweat. She noticed me and bowed. Good to see you again, Bahari. Hey, Fiorane. I handed over the present to the girl, Fiorane. Here, this is for you. Her eyes grew wide and she pushed the package back into my hands. I couldn't possibly accept this. There is no reason to. Sure there is. You saved my life, and this is my thanks. A little while ago, I found myself being chased by a monster near the kingdom. Having just recently become a hunter, she'd rescued me, and that's how we got to know each other. She's only 16, but she's tough as nails. Even Master Arlo is impressed, which is why he's training her to become a hunter for the kingdom, or in other words, a knight of the royal order. Fiorane hesitantly accepted the present and opened it. Well, look at that, Master Arlo exclaimed when he saw what was inside. One heck of a sword, yeah? Where'd you get the materials? Oh, you know, I got some people to help me. This is too precious of a sword for the likes of me. I cannot accept this, Fiorane said as she looked at Master Arlo with a troubled expression. I don't see why not. It's a very nice sword. You should use it on your hunts, yeah? Arlo replied. His disciple stood in silent thought for a moment. I will not use this, she stated definitely. Oh dear, guess she didn't like it. This is my first gift of gratitude I've ever received for a quest. I shall put it in my room where I can always see it, so that I may never forget my time as a novice, Fiorane said as she held the sword tightly and smiled at me. Thank you, Bahari. This is truly a wonderful gift. She looks so kind when she smiles, which is weird because she always looks so serious. I actually thought she was incapable of smiling, and when she did, it was almost like I'd discovered a new species of endemic life. So whatever happened to that sword, Fiorane? 10 years or so had passed when I asked Fiorane this question in Elgato Outpost. Sword? What sword? That cute girl has grown into an even stronger woman, both physically and mentally, and she's a lot more blunt towards me nowadays. It's good to see she's grown into a strong adult, but I also kind of miss the old Fiorane. I guess this is what it's like for a father to see his daughter grow up. The sword I gave you as a present, you know, before you became a knight. She stopped dead in her tracks. What's that? Her voice was so soft I couldn't hear what she was saying. It's still in my room, where I can always see it, she said before immediately turning on her heels and walking off at a brisk pace. Typical flight behavior. Try as she might, she couldn't conceal how red she'd become around her ears, though. I still can't believe that little girl is the leader of the Royal Knights now, let alone that we'd be working together to protect the kingdom. If that man hadn't rescued me back then, things would have been very different now. The sword that formed the bond between me and Fiorane might have never been finished. I wonder where he is and what he's doing now. Research into the anomaly in the kingdom has been slow, but I recently met the hero from Kimura Village, the one they call the Fierce. I'm sure this will greatly expedite my progress, but I should learn from Fiorane and be a little more humble. I should always remember how I started out, and when everything is over, I'm going to find that man and give him my proper thanks. Dude, these stories are actually really, really cool. Like, I love what they're doing with these stories. And I did not expect them to be this deep, and like I said, I haven't read all of them. I've just been reading them as I record these videos for you guys so that you guys can kind of see my initial reactions as I read them. But these stories really do provide a lot more interesting background to the characters in the game. Like right here, the interesting thing is like Bahari is not a character that is particularly interesting to me personally because, you know, he's a scientist, he does what he does, it's whatever. But in Bahari's story, they provide further background to Fiorane, who became a hunter when she was 16. She became a hunter, which is really cool. This was like, the story takes place like a long time ago. I think it was like, what, 10 years ago? Something like that. So it provides you with a lot of background on the characters. And like one of the coolest things in here has to be this line where Bahari says, "I want to know your name," and the hunter just says, "That won't be necessary. Forget about it." Because this instantly tells you exactly who that hunter was. Because when I was reading the story, I was wondering, could this potentially be a reference to our character? But no, it's Hojo. It's Masa Hojo. For those of you that maybe don't remember, you haven't played Rise or Sunbreak in a while, whenever you talk to Hojo, he has a tendency to kind of like repeat the last words in his sentences. Like, for instance, one of the things that you hear a lot is whenever he would give you a quest in Monster Hunter Rise, you would hear him say, "Get to it, to it." It's kind of like the same thing. Forget about it, about it. So is Hojo. Hojo is the one who kind of like saved... Dude, he destroyed a Zenogre in seconds. Hojo is a legendary hunter, dude. That is really cool. I like that a lot. I think that this was a really cool story. It gives you background into Arlo, gives you background into Firain, gives you background into Hojo. Really, really nice. I really appreciate this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well, and hopefully you are enjoying your holidays. Once again, thank you for taking the time out of your holidays to hang out with me and to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, dislike button. Feedback is important. And subscribe if you want more content like this. Hit the bell notification icon, all of that jazz. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.